I would love to know from you, diplomatically, how will this self-defense strikes, these two strikes on the two facilities in eastern Syria, how will this news be received in the Middle East?
Well, I just asked that very question of a senior administration official at the State Department tonight. The Secretary of State has been meeting with Wang Yi, the foreign minister and very powerful advisor to President Xi of China, a very important meeting, the highest level Chinese visitor that has come during this administration to Washington, and a lot on the the table there, figuratively, at least at dinner. But one of the main goals, according to the State Department officials for the last 2 days, has been, and the Secretary of State himself when he was at the UN the other day, has been to try to influence China to pressure Iran. China is a huge importer of Iranian oil. And so that was the main mission tonight. So separately, I just talked to a top official over there and asked how, exactly what you were asking, how would this interact with our diplomatic efforts, our efforts to work with Israel to try to get our hostages out. Since this is the IRGC, this is the Iranian Revolutionary Guard that we were taking action against tonight, according to the Pentagon and the White House. And this official said this is separate. It's completely separate from our diplomacy. It has nothing at all to do with Israel or with Gaza. It has everything to do with restoring deterrence. It has to do with going after the facilities that targeted our people and restoring our deterrence. So they're calling it a defensive measure, just as the Pentagon did. This is what the administration is going to say. Whether it stirs Iran or whether it deters Iran, it remains to be seen. But they are claiming that they can keep this on a separate track and that they are simply responding to Iran being aggressive and going after our troops. And you know, there were some minor casualties. There was one U.S. contractor who had died of a fatal heart attack during one of these incidents, related to the incident, perhaps. But the other service members, some 24, maybe as many as, or up to 24 who were affected, according to Courtney Kuby and all of our reporting from the Pentagon, have returned to duty. So they were not by any means life-threatening injuries. But this is certainly a line in the sand that the U.S. is not going to tolerate attacks against our troops.
Right. Andrea, you have covered foreign affairs for years, for decades. These sorts of situations are not new to you with your reporter's hat on. So I'm wondering, how do you think this is going to go over with Iran? The United States, more to your point about the United States is saying that this is a discrete action, has nothing to do with the Israel-Hamas war, nothing to do with anything else. This is just deterrence. But given your years of reporting, is it likely that Iran is going to view it that way as well?
It's very hard to predict what Iran is going to do, except that there is a lot of pressure on Iran not to escalate. And it depends, perhaps, on the results of the conversations with the Chinese leader, the top Chinese advisor, who has been meeting with Secretary Blinken tonight. Will meet with Jake Sullivan tomorrow. Probably see the president as well. I haven't looked just in the last few minutes at the president's schedule tomorrow, but this is obviously a very important meeting to set up a meeting that U.S. officials think the Chinese now want, that President Xi now wants, between President Xi and President Biden, most likely in San Francisco, when President Xi is expected at least to come to the APEC meetings in November. So it would be around November 18th. So that was one of the purposes. There are other big issues between us and the Chinese. There was an aggressive action by a Chinese boat against a Philippine boat in the South China Sea last Sunday. And that is another issue, the problems in the South China Sea. So it's really hard to say whether China will now be willing to put some pressure on Iran. It's not in China's interest at all for there to be a major widening of this war, an oil crisis in the Gulf, oil prices shooting up when its economy is not in it's not in the best shape, and it is heavily dependent on Iranian oil. So if they're really pursuing their economic interests, they will try to do what they can to help the U.S. with Iran, and that could be a stabilizing force. That is the hope of the administration.
And Andrew, one more quick question for you. Now that this action has been announced, what are you watching for next?
Well, very good question. Clearly, what Iran is going to do. What will Hezbollah do? Will they take action? Is this going to be a tit for tat that could get out of hand very easily in such a volatile situation? And how might it affect anything that Israel does vis-a-vis the hostages? They did have a targeted incursion, that's the way they described it yesterday, with tanks for the first time moving into Gaza and then moving out very quickly. But what are the next steps that Israel is going to take as there are conflicting pressures on Netanyahu? Many hostage families arguing and pressing Netanyahu and his war cabinet not to go in heavily with the full ground invasion because they feel it will jeopardize any further hostage releases and the negotiations for hostage releases. And other parts of the population in Israel wanting to retaliate and wanting to do something about decapitating the Hamas leadership, if that's even possible, but that is their stated goal. So it is an enormously complicated, really treacherous situation. And from my experience, and I think most people would agree, one of the most difficult that any administration has had to confront.